Hello. Let me make sure that I have my screen share right, and I am recording. Hello, book bosses. We are about to do the task 2 training for the March Madness, and this training is on increasing party sales. Just like everything with UBAM, there is really no script or formula or special secret to increase your party sales. But I hope that this training gives you a few little nuggets to maybe take back and try in your parties. I've done a few I've done lots of different parties, and I know that there are a few things that have worked. I've tried some new things. So when Tara wanted to know about who wanted to do some training, I was like, I'll do the increased party sales because it seems to be working for me for right now. So I'm going to go ahead. I created kind of a little presentation. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys, and we will get started. So let me go ahead and get started with that. Right here, I think maybe. Okay. So like I said, our training is increasing party sales. This will probably be about 20-25 minutes. It's not going to be super involved, but there's a few little things that I have definitely tried different that I feel like has worked. I think the key with anything in this business is building relationships. I have really worked hard at building relationships with the hostess, but I have also added a few things that I've learned from different trainings that I've gone to that have really seemed to work. But building relationships, of course, with sales, with vendor events, with booking parties, with building your team, with recruiting, building relationships is key. And just really trying to get to know guests and hosts and that kind of thing has seemed to work. Like I said, building relationship with your host, I have always really been taught to do that, and that's always worked. There are a few different ways to kind of build relationships. Some hosts are easier than others. Some hosts don't want to do a lot of small talk. They just want to let me know what I need to do and I'll do it. Some hosts are really open to small talk. So what I do with all my hosts is I make sure that they understand the hostess rewards right away. So a lot of times, even when I'm trying to get them to host a party, I make sure that they understand their what the hostess rewards are. So in the email that I send them at the very beginning about inviting their guests and what they need to do, sending messages and all that, I make sure that they understand. So I have a little blurb in there, and it will say, to start earning hostess rewards, your party must have $100 in sales. Easy peasy. The monthly hostess special is, and whatever the monthly hostess special is. So for March, it's $50 more in free books. And I'm like, oh, hey, you will start qualifying for the monthly special as soon as your party meets $400 in sales, whatever that goal is. I think this month it's $350, but I usually say $400 just to kind of keep it there. Now, if they don't meet $400 and they do meet, that's totally okay if they still qualify for the monthly hostess special. But $400 is to me a pretty decent party. So and then I also make sure that they understand that they have to have one person book a party with me. So right away, I make sure that they know their hostess rewards. And then I also set a goal for them. And I say, my goal for you is to reach at least $400 in sales. So they know how much their sales are, and then or how much they need to be. And then I'll say, along with 3 book parties, because that's always my goal. My goal is to always get 3 book parties. Now, do I do it all the time? No, but I still want them to know what that is, just so they know that they can work for that. And what I do, I use the party bonus books. I use that as an incentive for them to get booked parties. So I just tell them every party that's booked in their party, I will add $10 per party. And I usually say up to 3 parties. There has been times when I've gotten more than 3, but 3 booked parties within a party is pretty good. So that's just one little, and I tell them that right away. I tell this is at the very beginning. So, and I will say, so if you have any friends that you think might want to host, you might want to go ahead and just put a little bug in their ear. And that will give you $10 extra in free books. So just so that they know to kind of work on that. And then I also tell them what if they book one party and they meet their $400 in sales, their minimum will be this much in free books. And so I really try to make it sound like, oh, yes. Because that's what they're hosting a party for, is to get free books. So I really try to remind them constantly when we're messaging back and forth, remember about those $170 in free books, just so they will know. So, and then I tell them, I'll be sending you some tips along the way, and I will have posts for that to help you out. So just so they know what their goal is and where they need to focus. Some hosts are better than that than others. The competitive ones are really like, okay, yes, 3 parties, $400. What do I need to do? Some are like, oh gosh, that sounds so hard. It really depends. But that's when building relationships really you just kind of figure out what kind of person they are, and then that's where the wording will get a little different. So the hostess, like I said, I have always really worked hard at building relationships with the hostess. The new thing that I have really focused on, I want to say in the last 4 months or so, is building relationship with that party guest. It's worked, and it's made a big difference in some of my parties. So for the party guests, the first thing that I really try to do is open that line of communication right away. So when I get an RSVP for that party, like as soon as a person responds yes that they're going to go, I send them a PM, and I send that guest a PM, and it's super easy, a little cut and paste thing, but I just say, hey Susie, I just wanted to quickly introduce myself and say hello. I'll be your book consultant for so-and-so's party. I'm so excited to book party with you all. If you have any specific questions, please feel free to message me. And I send that as a PM. And I will say in my pre-party posts, make sure you check your messages. I'm going to be sending y'all messages just so they know. Some people don't see it or don't check it, but a lot of people do. And a lot of people are like, oh, hey, thanks. Sure. Or, okay, yeah, if I have any questions, I'll let you know. Which surprised me, because I didn't think that people would. I'd be like, I'm not friends with them. They might not even see it, but they do. And that just opens that line of communication at the very beginning. So I do that. And then when I start working on my book recommendations, so when I have I post the How Old Is Your Reader post, and I say, tell me some information about your kiddos, let me know about your readers. And then when they comment and they send information about those readers, I will comment back to them, and I will say, hey, thanks for the information. I created a wish list for you, and I sent it as a PM. And so that's what I do. I go to e-commerce and I make a wish list for them. And I've done book recommendations so many different ways. There for a while, I didn't use the wish list feature. I just kind of recommended books and I posted it on the party page. But then I started using the wish list feature, and it works great. For one, you can put a lot of books on there. So I am not shy with putting books. I put all kinds of books that I think that they will like. I mean, sometimes I've had people buy all the books I recommend. So I put a lot on there. And then what I also do is I go back to the party page and I leave a little comment to them and I say, hey, thanks for the information. Make sure you check your messages because I made you a personalized wish list. But here are a few books that are on that list. And so I just give them a few and I send the book link and I give them a few books, just 2 or maybe 3, but no more than 3. And I just give them a little peek at what their list will look like. And then I'll say, but make sure you check your PM because I have a wish list link for you, specialized just for your readers. And then that PM, that's where this comes into play. And I'll say, hey, here's a link to a wish list that I created just for you. Just click this link and it'll take you to some books that I got together that I think will be great for your readers. Let me know if you have any questions about any of the titles or if you're looking for something more specific. And that is the second way that I open up that line of communication. I have found that this works awesome because usually I'll have people message back and say, oh, hey, I was looking at the that musical nursery rhyme book. Do you know what that, can you tell me more about it? And then I can send them a video of that book. Or, you know, whatever they're looking for. Like, oh, my kid's favorite book is All Better. Do you have any more of those? And I'll send them a video of the, you know, Kisses and Cuddles book. So, and that has really helped. I think this is one of the main things that has increased my sales. It's just really getting to know that guest a little bit better and sending messages back and forth rather than commenting on the party page. So that is what then the next thing about after the party is over, after the party's done, following up. Now, just like the hostesses, following up has always been something that I've done. And it works. But I've added a little bit more to my follow-up. So with the host, I make sure that she understands to encourage all guests, or I encourage the host to follow up on all the guests. And a lot of times what I'll do is I will send her a little blurb of what to say. Because what I found is it's not that the hostesses don't want to do it. I mean, there are some that don't. But a lot of times the reason why they don't is because they don't really know what to say. And they don't really want to spend the time to create the wording. So I will give them wording for, here's what you say to guests that attended your party. Here is what you say to guests that RSVP'd but didn't attend. Here is what you say to guests that said they wanted to go, but they didn't RSVP. And so, and just a little blurb. And all of them are a tad different, but, you know, just so they have something to say. And so then I have found that they'll follow up with guests better if I just give them all the wording. So that's one way that I've really kind of focused on. And then the next thing is like going back to at the beginning of telling the host her goal right away. Another thing is just keeping her eye on the prize and just telling her exactly how many orders she has left or exactly how much dollar amount she's got left, exactly what she needs to do to get those $170 in free books. So I update her often. I'll break it down. Oh, you only have $64 in order. So that's one order or two small ones. Just so she kind of has an idea of what she needs to work for. And then what I have also added, which I didn't used to do, is to follow up with the guests. So I will go back through the party and look at what those customers had said in the party. Follow up with customers who commented on specific books that they liked, or if they seemed excited about certain books, or if they said, oh, we have All Better. Make sure that they know about the Glasses book, and make sure they know about the New Kisses and Cuddles book. If they like, Lift the Flat books, make sure they know about all the new Lift the Flat books. And I do that through a personal message. Because more than I have already messaged those guests, and at least once, maybe twice, with their wish list link. And so I send PM to all those guests that commented or whatever. That's another way I get hosts too. I try to get hosts is through that. But since we're talking about sales, that's one thing of what I do, is just really go back and just remind them that, hey, so-and-so's party is going to close tonight. I just want to make sure that you saw this book. Sometimes I'll send them a video of a book. It just depends. And then also I will go back, and any guest that I had any conversation with, I send a PM to them. And like I said, sometimes I use that to get hosts. Sometimes I even use that for recruits. Just because that line of communication is already open. And that is pretty much the majority of what I have done, that I have found that has worked and seems to work with guests. Like I said, building relationships is a big thing for a lot of things in this business. But for party sales, I think just using that messenger feature and really trying to get to know that guest a little bit better, then they will be more willing to buy from you guys. So I know this was a short training, and had just a few little tips and nuggets that I hope you guys could come back with. If you have any questions, or if you would like to see any of my wording more specifically, or things like that, you can just leave a comment underneath this post, and I will answer any of the questions that you have, or send any wording that you need, or things like that. I'm also going to post a little activity, task sheet, fun sheet, whatever, just to kind of get you thinking about your parties a little bit. And I hope this was helpful. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you're enjoying our March Madness training. I know we've got another one coming up this week, so hope you had fun. Thanks. Bye-bye.